Murder on the Main Line, Chapter 4, Rachel and the Electric Cherry. A gray Chevy Caprice, unmarked, on the highway heading out of the city, colossal in the background zooming by. The setting sun, a tangerine disk over the Delaware River, its edges crisp against the industrial skyline. The streetlights flickered on as they flowed with the traffic, northbound on Interstate 95, with the city of Philadelphia in the offing. The blue lights on the Benjamin Franklin Bridge blinked at them as they passed under. Mateo at the wheel went through his theories. Nestled in her pocket, Sloane's mobile phone pulsed 3 quick times, a signal from the ether. She checked. Matt. She thought about letting it go, just letting it vibrate its little heart out. But she knew it would haunt her with no remorse. It wouldn't go away. It would just be there, pulsing and alone in her pocket. She looked at Mateo, who had already shut up. He was looking through the windshield as if she weren't there. She picked up. "Hey," said Sloane. She looked out her window and watched the traffic passing, listening. "Hey," said Matt. "Just wondering when you might be home." "Oh, babe, I got another doozy. It's going to be a late one. I'm sorry." "Okay," said Matt. "I'll walk Cody. I owe you. I know it's been shitty. I'll make it up to you, I promise." "Yep, no problem," Matt said with a sigh. "Okay, I'll see you later then." "Okay. Love you." "Yep." He hung up. Mateo didn't say a word. He just drove, watching the streetlights arc over the car as they passed under them. They drove on, the GPS illuminated on their dashboard, signals guiding them to their primary suspect. His mind was focused on Rachel, turning the facts around like new shoes he was about to purchase. They got off at the Common Avenue exit and cruised over the surface streets of northeast Philadelphia, immense strip malls and brick townhomes. They parked in front of Rachel's apartment at 7:35 p.m. It was a small brick duplex on St. Vincent Street, a garage door for each side, a small walk-up to the front door. Mateo pressed the doorbell and knocked 3 times. Nothing. "She ain't here," said an approaching man from the backyard, startling them. Mateo didn't pull his iron, but he kept it there. The man looked like a beanbag chair tucked inside a purple hoodie, his hair greasy and flaky. "She ain't been here all day and night." "I'm sorry, sir. You know the woman that lives here?" asked Sloane. "Yeah, I'm her landlord. She's so late with the rent it ain't funny." "Why are you here?" asked Mateo. "To get the rent," said the man in rapid fire. "Can we get your name, sir?" asked Sloane. "Yeah, it's Leonard Plattmore," he said. They took his details. Landlord. She'd been there for years, decent kid for the most part, kept to herself. She owed him back rent. That was a constant and recurring theme. He said, "You got that right," a lot. He had been calling for weeks to get the rent. Today he stopped by to confront her. "Do you have the keys to get in?" "Sure as hell do," said Leonard. "I was just about to go in. Glad you guys are here." Mateo knocked again 3 times and announced police department. Nothing. He nodded to Leonard. Opened the door. The apartment, still and dark and unsettling. Blackout curtains on the windows. The place looked like it had been emptied in a hurry. It was half furnished, a coffee table but no chairs, a mattress leaning against the hallway wall, a lonely dish in the kitchen counter. It looked like a half-erased life. Somebody got out of here in a hurry. "You got that right," said Leonard. Sloane wandered into the bedroom, paltry and beige. The carpet was lighter where the bed used to be. In the corner of the room, resting on top of a scratched-up dresser, a mannequin head with a blonde wig. It stared at her, dead and plastic, and it stared in a natural silence into the room. Next to the dresser, on the nightstand, she saw a single plastic cap, a needle cap. She couldn't touch it though, not yet, no warrant. She cursed to herself and took a photo. They looked closely over the rest of the apartment. The stillness of the place was getting to Sloane, like it was watching her. She was ready to go. They regrouped in the kitchen, as all humans do in every domicile. "Looks like she bailed," said Mateo. "You got that right," said Leonard. "So, You know if she still works at the hospital? Asked Sloan. Hospital, ha, laughed Leonard. His bitterness peeked out, like a little monster peering out from under his baseball hat. No, she ain't worked at no hospital for a long time. I hear she's wiggling down at the Electric Cherry. The strip joint? Asked Mateo. Yeah, said Leonard. Goes by Nikki Halo. An alias? I don't know, could be, said Leonard. Could be just her stage name, said Mateo. Well, you seem well versed in strip clubs, Officer Mateo. Mateo laughed. Shit. You know what Sophia would do? She'd have your balls. You got that right, said Leonard. The Electric Cherry was just a few blocks away, a pink-painted clapboard, foursquare with dormers. An enormous neon sign, a pair of red neon cherries spun up to resemble the curvature of a naked ass, hummed over a packed parking lot. Saturday night, chica, said Mateo, unbuckling. We'll be busy. Hey, you can make a few extra bucks, you know. Sloan rolled her eyes at him and got out. She followed Mateo into the pulsing club. She could feel the bass line under her feet. The red neon band around the entrance door shrank her pupils to pins, which made the dark interior even darker. She looked down and followed Mateo's shoulders, trusting him in the dark. He led them into the bar. Hey boss, said Mateo to the bartender, presenting his badge. Help me out for a minute? The bartender, corpulent. He wore a bowling shirt, his hair slicked back over his middle-aged, sweaty skull. He looked like he just stole the last $2 from his mother's purse. Mateo struck up a conversation. The bar wrapped around the runway stage, which ran straight down the middle of the place. There was a brass pole at each end. Christmas and red pepper lights strung from the black-painted ceiling, adding a jovial glow to the sexual proceedings. Let's give a warm welcome to the gorgeous Nikki Halo, said the DJ over the PA system. A rock song built to its first crescendo. Rachel blasted through the red curtains and did her maiden runway walk, storming out like an angry soldier. She got to the end of the bar and popped and locked and looked at Sloan and Mateo. Then she spun around the pole with a dramatic flourish and walked back up the runway. Along the way, she walked out of her 6-inch heels, glancing back at the detectives. Both Sloan and Mateo sensed it the moment Rachel looked back. She was going to run. Sure enough, her runway walk broke into a full sprint and she disappeared into the red curtains. Police! Stop! They ran after her, right up on the stage and through the red curtains. Crashing into a wardrobe rack, Sloan ran down a dingy hallway after her. Mateo close behind and shouting, Stop! Rachel burst through the back door and ran down the alley, barefoot and quick and half naked. The car, shouted Sloan. Mateo broke off and ran to the car. Sloan kept chasing on foot. She chased Rachel across the traffic on Cobbin Avenue, nearly getting struck by a city bus. They ran across the backyards of the row homes, jumping the fences and crashing through clotheslines. At the end of the block, Rachel jumped a fence and ran to Oxford Avenue and tripped over a curb and fell crying. Sloan caught up to her, breathing hard. Mateo came screeching up in the car. What the hell is wrong with you? Asked Sloan, heaving. Why are you running? Scared, said Rachel. I'm clean, I've been good. Police, didn't you hear us? Ow, you're hurting me. You heard us say stop, right? No. You didn't hear us at all? Bullshit, said Mateo, getting out of the car with his gun drawn. Sloan cuffed her, wrangling Rachel into submission. Get me a blanket from the trunk, she said. Let's get a cover on this girl's ass. They wrapped her up in a blanket and Mirandized her and put her in the car and drove her back to the roundhouse. Mateo admonished her on the way back while Sloan kept quiet. She was taking Rachel in, studying her body language. Something about the girl was off, like a clock off kilter or wound up wrong. Her phone vibrated again, 3 times. Matt let her know that Cody threw up again. Great. She quietly put her phone away. Roundhouse, interrogation room 4. Having been processed, printed, and put into an orange jumpsuit, Rachel sat in the same metal chair. She looked up at the camera, watching her. What she didn't know was this. While she was getting processed, Sloan secured a warrant to search her apartment, thoroughly. It was easy. Just a phone call and a form. The combination of Heather's statement with Rachel's flight from the Electric Cherry sealed it. The evidence recovery team is already headed to her apartment. Sloane burst in with her coffee cup and paperwork. She settled in her usual way, with lots of commotion and vanilla folders. She was old school. Sitting down and shuffling through her paperwork, she let the suspect stew for a few extra minutes while she read through her glasses. Rachel chewed her nails, watching Sloane read under the ticking clock. Sloane looked up. "Rachel Bennett," she said. "I'm Sloane Taylor. A homicide." "Am I under arrest?" Rachel said. "Yes. Yes, for starters, evading." "Why?" "Why did I run? I don't know. I didn't want to get violated. I was scared." "Violated? Oh, you mean your P.O. Really?" "Hey, I've been clean. I just need to make ends meet. Know what I mean?" I know what you mean," said Sloane. "But why did you run? Now it's a felony. See what I mean? For a dirty test?" "No, I've been clean," Rachel started crying. "But I'm not supposed to work there as part of my conditions. I was scared. I was broke. I'm sorry. I don't want to go back to prison." "Clean? Rachel, we found a needle in your apartment. What is that about?" "What? Where? Oh my God, what is happening?" "It was right there on your dresser." "I have no idea what you are talking about, I swear to God." She was pale as a bleach bottle. Sloane pressed her on the subject, but kept hitting a wall of denial. She backed off. She let Rachel have a good cry. She handed her some tissues and said some soothing words. Crying helped her interrogation. "Look, Rachel," said Sloane like she was telling a secret. "I'll be honest. I don't even give a shit about all that. I'm more interested in your relationship with Josh Winslow." "Josh?" Genuine surprise flashed across Rachel's face. "God, I haven't seen him in years." "You haven't talked to him either?" "No." "Wait, homicide. He's dead?" "Yes, he is. I'm sorry." "Oh my God!" Rachel recoiled from the news, as if struck by cold water. She put her hand to her mouth and sat there for a moment, stunned. Her eyes watered up. "Why? Who would kill Josh?" "That's what we're trying to figure out. And is there any reason why his wife would say that you were texting him recently?" "What? No." She seemed angered by the question. In the secret side room behind the one-way glass, Mateo watched with his tattooed arms covered. Mike Reynolds came through the door and closed it. A Vice Squad detective, Mike wore chinos and had a square Irish head, carved from the brownstones in Norristown. "Rachel Bennett," he said, taking his place next to Mateo. They watched on through the glass. "Yep," said Mateo. "You know her?" "Yeah, I busted her a few months back. She was lifting hydromorphone from the pharmacy warehouse." "Big D," said Mateo. "Bingo, brother. What's she in for?" "Murder case. She came up." Mike whistled, looking on. "Damn. Well, let me know if you need anything. Her and I go way back." "Okay. We might well take you up on that, thanks." "Mind if I watch The White Widow at work?" Mateo laughed. "The master? Sure. Watch and learn, son." They watched the interrogation on the other side of the glass. "Yeah," said Sloane. "Why would she say that, though? That you were texting her husband. Weird, right?" "Look, I have no idea. I haven't talked to Josh in years. I have no idea what you were talking about." "Can you tell me where you were last night?" "Yeah, I was home. Wasn't feeling well." "Just home? Can anyone help you prove that?" "Actually, no," said Rachel. "I wasn't feeling well. Maybe you could check the neighborhood cameras or something." Sloane took more notes, like a stern schoolteacher. "You won't see me out there at no 3 in the morning," added Rachel. Sloane noted that she hadn't mentioned the time of death, and yet Rachel's answer defended the time frame. She underlined that note and went on like nothing happened. "Let's talk about you and Josh for a minute. You two dated for a time?" "Yes, that's right," said Rachel. "In medical school. Gross anatomy class. He had a cute laugh." "I see," said Sloane. "And was it a long-term thing?" "We were together for almost 2 years," said Rachel. "Oh, that's pretty good for that age. What happened? Why did you break up?" Honestly, said Rachel, I was interested in this other guy, Scott. I broke up with Josh. He took it pretty hard, actually. So that was it then? Yes. And you haven't spoken since? That's right. When did you last physically see Josh? Geez, long time. 10 or 12 years? And where was that? We were at his place. I broke up with him on his front porch. And that was that. Yes, said Rachel. Did you ever know his wife? I didn't know he was married until today. Still, though, why would Josh's wife say that? I have no clue on this earth, I really don't. Rachel looked rattled by the accusation. She looked away and crossed her arms. Okay, well, said Sloan. I should tell you that as we speak, there's a team serving a warrant on your apartment. So we'll see what we find from that, and I'm sure we'll have some more questions, okay? Until then, I think your PO needs to speak to you. Rachel sat there, stunned and pale. Sloan got up with a racket and left. Meanwhile, across town in the northeast, an evidence recovery team, several of them in windbreakers and baseball caps, swept Rachel's apartment with flashlights. They turned over the couch cushions and looked up in the ceiling tiles. They looked behind the refrigerator and under the water heater. Walking down the hall toward the master bedroom, one of them heard a vibration in the guest room. 3 short bursts. He followed the sound into the room and saw a faint, pale glow under the bed. He knelt and looked under and saw it, a burner phone hidden in the bed frame. He picked the phone out of the bed frame gently, by the top corner, and pulled it out and looked at it. Lock screen. But he could see the 3 most recent notifications in the preview mirror. A potential spam call, low battery, and a text to Josh. The text read, "You should have answered."